Hi everyone, good to see you. Adriana Barros, certified BodyTalk practitioner. Today I would like to talk to you about BodyTalk for animals. And just like on humans, BodyTalk works on animals as well. And I would like to talk a little bit more on how animals perceive their environment and how they interact with it. So the body talk system really is designed to restore the communication within the body mind and also between the mind and the different systems within the body, and which really gets compromised when the individual is under stress. So when an animal deals with stressful situations and is in danger or is suffering painful memories or hurt from whatever traumatic event they've been through, the same happens to them. So the communication between the brain and rest of the body gets interrupted. The signals between the brain and into the different systems in the body get slow. And when those signals diminish in strength and speed, the functioning internally of the brain and the different body parts start decreasing in quality, in speed, and with that happening for a certain period of time, the body gets prone to start developing diseases. So basically what Body Talk does through using different principles from different Eastern Western medicines and a series of techniques that are designed to bring balance into the body mind, to know the areas of imbalance that we as practitioners have to deal with. We have to then look for the priorities in healing for that individual, and that's when those priorities get lined up in a certain order. That's when we're supposed to start integrating that into the body mind, so the body starts healing again. And that integration is done through tapping of the three brains, which are the brain, the head, the heart, and the enteric brain, which is around the navel area. So by doing the tapping, we are activating the functioning of each brain. So we are tapping on the brain, the head brain, to actually tell it to start, that changes are going to start taking place. We tap on the heart brain to say that to tell the heart to start storing the memories of those changes that the body is about to go through, and on the enteric brain to make the body digest and decide to integrating those changes, and really to decide to heal. That's the last word in healing in the body. So when it comes to animals, there are two categories. There are the wild, three categories: the domestic animals, wild animals, and we also have the sea animals. So we basically, the animals that we know as domestic animals, they all have been wild at some point, but we started domesticating animals and started bringing them into our household to the point that most of those animals lost the ability of living in the wild. And then when they get used to being taken care of, they lose their ability of actually surviving on their own. And that's what we did to them. So when we are talking about a cat and a dog, for example, when we bring them to our household, they can be picked up from the street. They can be found on the street because he was lost. It was just a feral animal, or we can get them from breeders, which in all those circumstances, and regardless of where the animal came from, they got separated from their birth parents and from their siblings. So there's already that pain of actually not living with their family anymore. So of course they miss their mother, because the big attachment to the family is between a pup and their mother. And so the separation, oftentimes the lactating, and they're still, needing to be around their mother until they feel strong enough to be on their own. However, I find that it's up to the animal, to the mother, to really detach, to break that bond within her kids and herself, versus having them separate them forcibly, as we do when you get our animals from breeders, for example. And oftentimes the conditions that they're bred in are very poorly and kept, and oftentimes there's violence involved, and there's neglect, and there's abuse, which is really hard for us to find out. And so, as we know, when animals come from breeders, oftentimes they have a shorter lifespan, and they start developing diseases at a much earlier age versus animals that are not brought into our home from a breeder. And if they are, on the streets because they were neglected, they were abandoned, oftentimes they do develop diseases. They get hit by cars, they lose their limbs, or they start developing diseases, skin conditions, and you name it. And oftentimes they barely have to eat, and so they go, they suffer from starvation for long periods of time, which can very badly compromise all the function within the body. Oftentimes they don't even have access to water. So these are some of the conditions that animals can experience. And so if they are under those stressors, even when they come to the household, for example, just from dealing with the dynamics of the household they're in, that can actually set the grounds for an animal to start developing diseases or not in the long run. And that's why we see that oftentimes we see an animal developing, a domesticated animal developing diseases out of nowhere. And oftentimes that's developed in lieu of having the person, the owner of the household, developing that disease. So the animals pick that up instead. And they can die at an early age with no history whatsoever. So they're really doing a favor to humans and protecting them. That's how cool animals are. However, that's why it is really important to keep a balance in our own health, even though we have animals at home, because they will pick up the energy. They will try and heal us without us even noticing, and they'll pick it all up. So it's really important to clear their energy as well as our energy. So it's good to keep that balance between the body mind, keep that communication going internally, and clearing all the traumas, all the fears, all the phobias, all the hurts that an individual might have gone through, either a human or an animal. And when the dynamics, that relationship is healthy enough, then it is a healthy environment that we're dealing with. So that's why it's really important for a whole household to receive BodyTalk, to really address the imbalances and strengthen the dynamics within the individuals that live in the same household, either humans or animals. And the BodyTalk system has the tools to bring that balance between the body-mind of an animal as well. And we are still working on the same way as we work in humans, looking for the priorities in healing within the body-mind, and linking the breakdown of those communications, strengthening the signals between the brain and the different parts of the body, and looking for the root cause of what it was that broke down that communication in the first place. And when that's done, then I as a practitioner reset that communication, and the healing process starts happening within the body-mind. So for those who don't know, the BodyTalk system uses different principles from different Eastern and Western medicines, such as mathematics, quantum physics, chiropractic medicine, acupuncture, Ayurvedic medicine, yoga, Reiki, and applied kinesiology. So all those principles in place came up with, the founder of BodyTalk, Dr. John Viltime, came up with a protocol chart that is designed to look for imbalances between the body-mind and to really strengthen the lines of communication and promote self-healing within the body. And when we have pinpointed the root cause of the problem and attached that to the emotions that made that problem start in the first place, we are able to then clear those memories, clear the imbalances, and restore health and communication within the body-mind, and that promotes self-healing. So in case of animals, it is the same principle. So we are looking into really clearing the emotions, the negativity inside, the hurt they went through, the traumas, and the detachment that they had from their families, or if they've been abused, and oftentimes you see serious abuses practiced towards animals with no funded reason. So it is really important to clear that and make sure that when we are clearing those memories, promoting self-help within the body, mind, and self-healing, we are in the long run saving money as well, versus having to take our companion animal to the vets and having their issues addressed. So I hear from a lot of people that taking a pet to the vets is very expensive. And it is, because I have 2 cats of my own, and I know how it is and how much money I've spent so far on both of them. And that's exactly what it is. Plus there's insurance, right? But insurance only covers so much towards the care of those animals. And then we get stuck with all those bills to pay, and oftentimes when all the vet's looking for is for diagnosis. So it's a lot of blood work, it's a lot of imaging, and then medication, which can compromise and bring in toxins into the body mind of that animal, and like cortisone, for example. And when that's stored in the body, it starts compromising the toxins of certain medications and components and creams and whatnot, and substances start really affecting how our health, the animal's internal health will actually develop. So, and let's say if the animal needed a chemotherapy, for example, or needed radiation, another type of radiation, because they're trying to tackle the cancer cells, if that's what they're looking for. Chemotherapy then is taken in, and the cancer can go away. However, all that radiation is still inside the body. And that's exactly what's being injected into the body. It's cancer cells. So in the future, so that radiation will develop other cancer cells. And then in the future, that cancer or different cancers can come up. And there's nothing that really can clear that those chemicals from inside the body. Under the Western medicine perspective, BodyTalk, by using a different series of techniques, it's possible to address within the BodyTalk system microbes, toxins, allergens, intolerances, chemicals, and by using the right technique in BodyTalk, it is supposed to flush that out. It's supposed to find out if there's parasites in the body, if there's microbes, if there's fungi, and not only knowing that there is, that those bodies are inside the body, but to really address them and clear them out. And that's what BodyTalk does. and that is done naturally through the techniques that we use in BodyTalk, without the use of any supplement or any medication for that matter. So basically, when your animal is receiving BodyTalk sessions, it's not only addressing what the imbalances that they are going through, but it is really preventing new conditions of forming in the body mind, and that same condition from recurring. So once we clear the pathways and we clear the triggers, then the body heals itself, and it stays that way. However, when we say that an individual receives BodyTalk, it's important to receive on and off another BodyTalk session to really clear any breakdown of the communication between the body mind, so no other conditions start forming inside the body mind. And that's what we're looking for. So that's why we say that BodyTalk is preventive medicine. So if you receive BodyTalk sessions, or if your companion animal receives BodyTalk sessions on and off, that will save you a lot of money in the long run. And it's just a matter of really looking for that imbalance, addressing it, and then within a few sessions, the healing takes place. It all depends on each individual, how many sessions they will need in order to heal. Oftentimes we see that individuals, and mainly animals, I would say, more than in humans, because animals don't work with belief system. Animals only perceive energy, and animals are open, so they are not judgmental as to what we are putting into their bodies, right? Because they have no way of communicating if they want something or not, but they do know if something is good for them or not. And I know by working on animals, the reaction of having them feeling comfortable, feeling relaxed when they're receiving sessions, and oftentimes how thankful they are to me, just from doing them that favor. And animals shift, and animals heal much faster than humans do, for that reason. So instead of complaining of how much money it's spent at the vets, and oftentimes just to look for diagnosis, but really, what do we do with diagnosis? We can receive the diagnosis that the animal has cancer, for example. So how does it make good or bad, right? Then the animal can start receiving chemo if that's what you think that is going to heal it, and then yes, it can heal. However, the cancer can also come back, and it's very invasive, right? So all those toxins really take a toll and into the body, either on a human body or on an animal body. It's really invasive, and BodyTalk is all natural. BodyTalk, on the other hand, really doesn't use any harsh anything. So there's no chemicals, there's no medication involved, there's no creams, there's no nothing. It's really promoting the internal healing of the body, because the body knows how to heal itself. And the proof of that, as I've mentioned before, is that when you cut yourself or burn your skin, twist an ankle, the same for animals. If they are just let be in the wild, they will heal again, because the body knows how to do it, the healing. It just gets confused, and that process within the body mind gets compromised due to the stresses that the animal in this case went through. So what I do as a practitioner, as a BodyTalk practitioner, I use the right tools, and in order to have all those imbalances addressed at that point in time. And once that's done, I promote self-healing within the body mind. And healing in BodyTalk, also for animals, is done as deep as cellular and quantum levels, meaning that we are really clearing the memories and the imbalances on every single cell of the body of that individual. and it's natural healing, like I said. So it's really a matter of knowing where you invest in your money, and instead of complaining that it's a lot of money and there's nothing done anyways. Like, I took my cat to the vets about a year ago, and $900 later I had a diagnosis. In that case, the imaging was important. However, who's keeping my cat safe and alive? So it's me. So I had to really control and find out the best diet for him, and it wasn't the vet's diet, and it wasn't the vet's medication. The proof of it is that my cat's not taking the medication anymore, because I decided that it wasn't working, and neither is my cat eating the prescription diet from the vets. He's not. So I found that the best diet that works for my cat and that's making him have the bowel movements that he needs is the one that he's eating right now, and he's fine. So again, if you're looking for something more natural, if you're looking for something non-invasive, if you're looking for a therapy that is done either hands-on or at distance, and in case of animals, BodyTalk is not done hands-on, just for obvious reasons. It's not possible to have an animal lie down their backs for half an hour until I finish a session. So for that reason, I can use the caretaker as a surrogate, or I can do a remote BodyTalk session altogether. And that is possible due to the principle of quantum physics that really states that there's no spaces in between point A and point B, neither outside of our body, neither inside of our body. So everything is connected, everything is one, and we are not matter. What you look and see that is matter is actually energy vibrating. So all these particles, all these atoms, protons, that compose all the energy bodies that we have, I find that it makes much more sense to treat energy with energy versus having to impose a harsh matter or a harsh substance onto an energy body. And another point that is important to bring out is that the difference between Western medicine and BodyTalk is that Western medicine and most of the so-called holistic therapies work from the Cartesian method. So the Cartesian method is the method that states that we are to divide the body in different body parts in order to treat them separately. And by treating matter with matter, we're supposed to make changes onto that dense and harsh body. So it does work when the imbalance of the problem is on the physical level of the body. So the body has 5 levels, so which is the denser one, which is a physical body. Then we have the vital body, which is the second denser body, which is where most of holistic therapies work from. So acupuncture, Ayurvedic medicine, Reiki, or reflexology, massage, you name it, they all work from that level. Then we have the mental body, which is the level of the body where matters of the mind get addressed. So we look at ego, we look at conscious, subconscious mind. So if the imbalance is on that level of the body, and if a therapy like psychotherapy that would work from that level works, and not in the case of animals, of course. So if something that looks at addressing the mind of the individual, then yes, the problem disappears and it won't recur. However, if you use therapies on those levels for that animal, and the problem hasn't subsided whatsoever. It's because the imbalance is not on those levels, it's on a level above that. So the level that's above the vital level is, the mental level is the supramental level, which is the level where BodyTalk works from. From working that second highest level, it's important that because we have the chance of addressing all the levels below. So any imbalance on all the other levels will be addressed. And then we have the tools to really look at the body as a whole from the supramental level, and addressing conscious mind, subconscious mind, addressing emotions, addressing traumas, fears, phobias, imbalances, breakdowns, everything within the physical, mental, and subconscious mind. And the level that's not covered above BodyTalk, which is the very top one, is the bliss level. The bliss level is the level where the body does not need any healing, because it heals itself from that level down. So people who have no contact whatsoever, that can shield themselves with all the turmoils that we live on our daily lives on this physical realm. People that meditate for many hours, which is not the case of animals, then they can heal themselves naturally. Although it is the healing, the self-healing can take place when animals live in the wild. Like I said, just because they are not paying attention to the problem, because they don't have any recollection of pain, right? Or if they do, like I said, the threshold that they have towards pain is much bigger, and they can tolerate it more, so they can heal. However, even if they heal in the wild, oftentimes they heal with scar tissue, and scar tissue can start compromising other body parts and other systems within the body, and that can cause compromises and start developing other conditions in the future. So I personally I am trained to even release connective tissue, fascia, and so that can be addressed as well. So this is what I wanted to talk about regarding the BodyTalk system for animals, and really that there's another way of treating your companion animal, and it's not only by spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars and not seeing results, but I would say it's just a non-invasive, a more natural healing method, which animals appreciate much more. And they won't even notice that a session is being done on them if I'm not touching them. They can perceive the energy and find that something is happening, but not necessarily compromise their comfort in any ways. So for those who would like to find out more about BodyTalk for animals, you can find my information in the description box below, and contact me if you have any more questions regarding conditions or symptoms that your companion animal has been experiencing, and we go from there. Okay, so you can watch the other videos on my channel as well, and if you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you.